Hey everyone, SoundHound AI stock has been surging of late, which has investors asking how much higher can it go? Where could the stock price be? And in this video, what I'm going to answer and what I'm going to look at is where SoundHound AI stock could be 2 years from now. So I'm going to look at a few metrics, I'm going to make some assumptions, and I'm going to make some estimates to come up with the conclusion on where I think SoundHound AI stock could be 2 years from now. So let's join in and look at this evaluation.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so one of the things I'm going to need to make my estimate is where SoundHound is right now. So its current enterprise value. And as you can see here, it's trading at a $1.473 billion enterprise value as of this recording. And you can see this latest surge here in valuation. The price has more than doubled here in the last few weeks on the back of rising demand for artificial intelligence. That's lifting a lot of boats here. Also, the big news that came out recently in recent weeks was that Nvidia, the big dog of AI, made an investment in SoundHound AI, and that gave a lot of investors excitement about SoundHound AI, which lifted it even higher. As if artificial intelligence needed more enthusiasm, it got that with the investment from Nvidia. So this is one of the numbers I'm going to need, is its enterprise value of 1.473 billion. All right. The next thing I'm going to use is its valuation metric, its EV to revenues. Now, looking at this metric, you can see its EV to revenue is at 38.53 as of this recording, the highest it's been in the last year. If we try to zoom out a little bit and we go back 3 years, you can see it's not as high as it was once in 2022, where it traded at an EV to revenue over 120. So while this is the recent high going all the way back to roughly July of 2022, the valuation has been more expensive in the past. Currently at 38.53, it's near the higher end of where it's been in the last year and a half since valuations got a reset. Remember, in late 2022, valuations of nearly every growth stock got a reset because the Federal Reserve started aggressively raising interest rates, and that reset valuations lower and more realistic. Well, since then, the stock price right now is the highest that it's been since that reset. So that's an interesting thought to consider, and I'm going to keep that in mind while I'm making this estimate. All right, another number I'm going to use to make my estimate is the fiscal year 2025 SoundHound AI revenue target. So 99.7 million. This is what Wall Street analysts that are following SoundHound AI stock, this is what they forecast it will deliver in revenue in fiscal year 2025. So some analysts might think it's going to do better. Some might think it's going to do worse. This is the consensus among all those analysts. When they submit their forecast, this is the consensus among those analysts. So I'm going to use this number as an input into my valuation estimate. All right, so now that we've gathered our inputs to our valuation estimate, let's take a look at where the stock price could be, or where the enterprise value could be. So the 99.77 million in revenue, and let me correct this on the fly, it should be 2025, is the number we got from Wall Street analyst estimates. 38.53 is the current EV to revenue the stock is trading at. If everything remains the same, the company is on track to hit that revenue and its valuation remains the same, the enterprise value could rise to 3.844 billion by the end of 2025. Now that would be an excellent increase. Let's go back here. Remember, it's currently trading at 1.473 billion. So a valuation of 3.8 would be another more than doubling from its current valuation. And I think SoundHound AI stock investors would be pleased with that result. In fact, they would be more than pleased with that result, although I don't think this is the most realistic scenario. Let's continue. If its valuation were to drop to 30 from 38.53, that could mean an enterprise value of 2.993 billion by the end of 2025, Again, that would be roughly double from where it's at now at 1.473 billion. And again, I think SoundHound AI stock investors would be pleased with that result. Moving even lower, if the EV to revenue were to fall to 20, the valuation could rise to 1.995 billion, which would be roughly 500 million above where it's currently trading at. And again, that would be roughly a 25% return over 2 years. I think investors would still be pleased with that result, although given the heightened risk for SoundHound AI, I always consider reward versus the risk. So if I'm getting 25% over 2 years, I would be really happy with that kind of return in a stock like Coca-Cola and McDonald's because there's relatively less risk in those investments versus an investment in SoundHound AI, which I would expect more from a company like this because I'm taking more risk. I want more return when I'm investing in a company like SoundHound AI versus if I'm investing in a company like McDonald's or Coca-Cola. So a return of 25% over 2 years, I wouldn't be thrilled. I also wouldn't be disappointed if I was a SoundHound AI stock investor and this is what it earned. And if the EV to revenue were to fall even more to 15, then the valuation could only slightly increase to 1.496 billion in the next 2 years. And this would be disappointing, right? For the valuation to be flat in 2 years while you're taking significant risk in this investment, that would be disappointing. Now, my best guess, my base case scenario, one that I think is most probable over the next 2 years, is for the EV to revenue to drop. Now, I don't expect it to drop all that much, but I don't think it's going to remain at an EV to revenue of 38.53. You can see that's really high going back all the way a year and a half. I also don't expect it to fall all the way down to 15. I also think that's unrealistic. So I think somewhere between 20 is a probable scenario where the EV to revenue were to fall to. So if I was to say where SoundHound AI stock price or EV could be, enterprise value could be 2 years from now, I would say somewhere around 2 billion, from around 2 billion to 2.2 billion. So a roughly 25 to 30% increase. And that's because the valuation has been exploding so much already. So it's already more than doubled in the last couple of weeks, and the valuation is getting stretched. So even though its prospects are excellent, I don't expect very much more increase on the way here from SoundHound AI because so much has already been priced into the valuation. So much has already been priced in. Now, if there's a change to the revenue estimate and revenue looks like it's going to be better, then of course, then the valuation could be better for 2025. Now, SoundHound AI is going to report earnings any day now, and typically Wall Street analysts take a day or two or three to digest those latest results and update their forecast. And if there's a major change, I will update this valuation. There's already a few companies where I did a valuation estimate and I had to update it a couple of weeks later because it was irrelevant because the stock price increased by so much in those few weeks. I have a feeling SoundHound AI might be one of those there where the stock price is so volatile. It could be up, it could be down by so much that I'll need to revisit this estimate in a short amount of time. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.